gasoline was allowed.
Having huge credentials and doing lots of advanced mathematics and not thinking.
And we've reduced the general population's IQ by some measurable amount because of that lead in the gasoline. That's a crazy story.
Completely. I mean, that's my thesis is that half of the country is lead poisoned, and that's one of the problems why we have the country that we have.
What years was unleaded gas? Leaded gas.
So the public in
Or they'd have fucking thought. Let me see. 1996. Oh, I'm fucked. Yeah, that was like right after I graduated high school. Damn it. I am toast. My breast cooked.
Well, yeah. I mean, so Gen X and millennials have a very high level of lead poisoning.
Is that why I'm like this?
Maybe. I mean, I think that's why baby boomers are the way they are.
Wait, so what are the symptoms of like lead poisoning?
Sometimes I just jerk, randomly.
Lower IQ, higher aggression, less empathy.
I'm pretty aggressive.
So
I am kind of aggressive. I'm
Exactly.
very territorial.
Like literally explain to everyone that voted for Trump.
So lead poisoning just describes roidness, basically. The symptoms are.
No, if you have lead poisoning, you're one of the best lead poisoned people out there.
Thank you.
I have lead poisoning. I for sure have high levels of lead in my blood. We all do. Generationally.
I am a great lead poisoned person. And nothing wrong with it.
I will buy that shirt.
I'm rocking my Iron Maiden shirt right now, so I'm kind of liking it. Yeah.
Is there like a way to detox from it? Like, is there a way to get it out of your system?
No, it's like mercury. It just kind of, it
It's
just like goes in your organs and kind of hangs out. Your body can't really. There's no like
There's some
function.
treatment for it, yeah.
Your liver needs to be able to attach do a little chemistry thing to it to make it potable, so you can get out, clear your urine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just no. Your liver doesn't have the. Didn't evolve to deal with lead or mercury.
I think there's some sorts of medication.
Like charcoal? Isn't that like...
You can eat giant chunks of charcoal if you want. But you can just, have some water too. It's kind of gonna dry you out a bit, Christina.
Yeah, I mean we're supposed to top out at what was it, 10.2 billion by 2060. But the rate of the rate that we are replacing people is slowing down because people are having less children, right? So so I don't know how creatively we can get to have an infinite growth of the economy with a population that's starting to slow down in terms of replacement.
UBI. And renewable resources and renewable technologies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the tech giants were smart, right, they would ask Pappy Trump to pass a law that says that modular nuclear reactors are now the way that these data centers are going to be powered, and if they were even smarter, right, to ingratiate themselves to the towns that they're building these monsters in, is to put a water treatment plant at the tailpipe end of these facilities so that you're replenishing the water, you're feeding clean water out. So you're not just sucking up the aquifers, right? You're putting it back in. But in a country like this, that takes regulation, right? And that's not going to happen. So like we are literally on a path to catastrophe if we have an exponential growth in AI, because the infrastructure itself will not be able to support it. So if Texas shuts down because it got too cold one year, right? What does that tell you? Like that we're going to be okay when these giant data centers are sucking up 6 kilowatts of energy? Which is going to happen within, less than 10 years?
So, do we have, a war? I'm sorry, maybe I'm, uneducated on this, but do we have, a war with AI with other countries? Like, is there a reason why we're like trying to have so many?
See, what I have is I have a war on love. That's that's what I'm gonna.
Royvis, bless your heart, Royvis. You're going.
If people want to have a war on drugs, they have a war on love.
No, like,
Iran
is it
wants
because
to
of
kill
China?
us with these stupid, they have like these inexpensive stupid drones and they want to kill us.
They don't want to kill us. They want to kill the United States that's in their backyard.
I won't be minding being killed by like
they want to kill us.
geometrical shape horde of drones coming towards me, like some weird fucking tetrahedron fucking collection of weird little drones, and then they just what they do, like they shoot little darts at me. Like, what are they gonna?
I'm not going to chase that rabbit. To answer your question, Christina, we are in an economic war with China to get to artificial general intelligence and super intelligence, right? And the major players in the United States are at war with each other. So it's not necessarily national interest other than China and Russia, but Russia hasn't been a major player in this for a while.
Yeah, but a lot of funding comes from the Middle East and Saudi Arabia specifically, and so now we're fucking around the Middle East, and we have this conflict of interest with like
And they're starting to buy our
destabilize an area that we depend on to finance our fucking
So stupid.
insanity, right?
really stupid, and we created one. We have one of these leaded presidents.
And if the United States was a human being, this dumb lumbering idiot, like he just like tries to pet, it's like a mice with man. He tries to, pet his
diabetic, missing toes, open sores, drooling on themselves.
I only drool out
eating Chick-fil-A.
Christina, do you know how many folks that voted for Donald Trump?
Do I know any?
Do you know many?
I did. I'm not.
You did?
Good idea. That's a major red flag.
Yeah.
It's a red hat. It's not just a red flag.
The literal red flag, right?
Literally.
Every empire has come through the same thing, though. Turning into that fucking rabid, horrible, self-satisfied, lack of. The irony is when Hansen talks about imagination should be used to go, right, obviously the world was going to have to change with the advent of AI and robotics. How do the people, how do we eat, how do we survive, how do we have the lives? Yeah, and my point was, I can't go past the fact that it can't happen under capitalism. So I'm not against AI or robotics. It's just that I don't think it can exist in the world that we live in. And capitalism also, in my life, the difference between the rich and the poor since like the 60s is it's just beyond anything. It's just massively increased. So, trillionaires, billionaires, God, when I
was support heat during the winter. Like that level of greed.
And that's the other thing that we're not talking about, right? Between the 70s to now, it used to be that the owner of a company made 7 times more than their lowest paid employee. Now it's 300 to 700 times more. And to answer your question, Austin, it was 77,302,580 people voted for Trump.
77 million?
Yeah.
What
Do you think
percentage
that
of
number would
everything
change? Do you think that number would
All of
change
it.
now?
Well, the Republican talking apparatus is turning on Trump, right? Like, he's lost Tucker Carlson, he's lost Candace Owen, he's lost one of the blonde ones from Fox News. Like, I forget her name, Megyn Kelly. He's losing people that were his sycophants, and they're like, Tucker Carlson literally made an apology video, being like, my bad, I fucked up, I got this guy, I helped get this guy voted in. It was wrong of me. Well, I'm sorry. Which is, okay, great, fine, but that doesn't help anything, right? And a lot of the people that voted for him are are learning brutally that their vote was wrong, right? You have these dudes that were voting for Trump because he was going to be anti-immigration, and now their wives or husbands got deported. Oh, too bad. So sad.
Yeah, but to be fair, Romero, there was a reason they did vote for him. There wasn't partly because there wasn't an alternative, and they were looking for change.
There was Kamala.
Well, yeah, you're right. They were looking for change, but we already had a Trump presidency, so he was to some extent a known quantity. And his first round only was less catastrophic because he had adults around him being like, "No, you can't do that. No, you can't just shoot protesters in the leg. No, you can't do this." Where now he's surrounded himself by a bunch of alcoholic sycophants that just do whatever he says. Right?
I get that. I'm not defending him.
No, I'm not saying that you are.
From a democracy point of view, though, it shows it's a failure in the political system to have.
Yes.
Choice is the wrong word. I don't know, but he is a consequence of a failure of politics as a way of expressing choice for people to vote.
You're extremely right on that. Yeah, that he does show the one good thing about Trump is that he's shown all the weak spots.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And if we're smart,
there's a failure to communicate.
no one can eat 50 eggs, Roybus. No one can eat 50 eggs. But you're right, and so when you have a political system that runs on money, corporate money, foreign government money, right? Then you have politicians that are spending most of their time getting re-election money than actually doing things for the population. And I've learned when I was in high school, I thought Bill Clinton was a good president. I was like a dyed in the wool Democrat, and I hate the Democratic Party. I don't like the Republican Party either, but I hate the Democratic Party for the one reason that their inaction telegraphs exactly what their values are. They don't care. They're going to get paid anyway. And yeah, things are better under Democratic rule. Like budgets do tend to get, balanced or close to or managed better. And the infrastructure tends to keep running. But they're still getting paid by the same people. They're still getting they're marching orders from the same billionaires and trillionaires. And so and every member of Congress goes in, having 500,000 in their bank account and comes out millionaires because of insider trading, because of illegal activity that would be illegal in any other profession. Right? So how these people are never gonna rein themselves in. Right? It's like the police. They're like, "Oh, we killed somebody. We're gonna look into it ourselves." It's like, well,
Yeah,
okay.
that'll never happen.
It's like, okay, fucking, that's stupid.
Well, self-regulation never works. And going on about regulators, you can have good regulation and bad regulation. It's a bit like, the smoking industry. So the percentage of people with lung cancer now compared to the 70s is like at least 50% less. The government stepped, the tobacco companies, they were going, "Oh, smoking doesn't cause lung cancer." Fuck off, of course it does. Yeah, but the government had to step in to regulate. So there's good regulation, and then there is bad regulation. I get that, but just because there's bad regulation doesn't mean there should be no regulation.
Correct.
Isn't bad regulation just no regulation though?
No, sometimes there are rules.
There's some really bad regulation.
Yeah, that are just antithetical to the point. But you're right that a lot of no regulation also happen.
So what is the resolve in all of this though? The people who are in power are just puppets, and there's a small percentage of the puppet masters doing this. So how are we going to actually make a change? Because there isn't going to be any regulation, because these people are being paid off to make sure that they just keep doing what they're being told. So how do we stop this? Because it's been going on for decades, but people are finally waking
read
up.
the fourth turning. The system breaks is how you fix it. The system breaks. You get the global catastrophe. People learn these hard lessons, and then you have about 30 to 40 years of upward growth and mobility and stability for people. And then the billionaires forget the lessons of the past and start doing their shenanigans again.
And then proliferate.
I think making sure people with horrible character like Trump have no chance of winning. People waking the fuck up, but the right turned woke into a curse word. People need to wake the fuck up.
What I don't understand is why we don't have really not extreme, but intense psychological psychoanalysis of people before they can run for political office. Why are we not having these people tested
Absolutely. That's a great
antisocial personality disorders, making sure these people aren't psychopaths, sociopaths. So
because the Epstein class is never gonna regulate itself.
The only way you can beat a psychopath is if you are a psychopath, okay? That's usually the logic that people put into, oh, well, at least our crazy guy's on our team. And then you end up voting for crazy people. No, this is a huge thing. Their personalities are exaggerated, so are their flaws. And when people look at such adversaries, they're like, hey, look, if a team has a crazy person, our guy should be scarier. And that kind of logic sometimes makes you making poor decisions.
No, I'm saying you cannot run for office unless you pass this test.
Yeah, Christina.
So then they will just become undetectable. So that's not a good path. Usually
I don't know, Christina, earlier I was going to say, not everyone realizes when you vote for president, they don't just have one job title, they have two. They have not more than one job title. Their main job title is President of the United States of America, but they're also the Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military, and they're in charge of a nuclear red button that can kill millions of people, literally. But I had an idea, presidents should be able to pass the military fitness to return to duty and physical fitness tests before they're president. I think that'd be sensible.
Yeah, but you'd have to amend the Constitution to do that, which requires 2/3 of both houses of Congress and 3/4 of all the states.
Exactly.
You're probably not getting that through 3/4 of all the states.
I think it's a good policy. I think it's good. I think unfortunately that's not going to filter out psychopaths. And even if you filter out the psychopaths, you may not solve the problem. Many of us have, I hope all of us are familiar with the idea of the banality of it, right? A lot of the time, people are bad, but they're not committable, okay? They're not clinical. They're just bad. And you can't come up with a test for people just being bad, all right?
There's really good psychometric tests in the 21st century, but
being bad is
just
not
being able to be,
but
just being
you're not
able
a psychopath
to
because you're bad.
I'm not a psychopath.
Well, but also,
A person is not a psychopath just because they're bad. So the idea that you get this test and it assesses whether you're, sure.
Yeah, Batman is a psychopath, right? Batman is a good psychopath.
There probably are no psychopaths in office.
But it's just a bare minimum. Like typical military officers with weapons of mass destruction, they need to pass tests to be able to handle that responsibility.
Right.
You should have that for a president.
Yeah, and anyone just in politics in general. I just feel like there should be levels of understanding how to just be a decent, good person. It's not even being a good or bad person. It's beyond that. You have to have a level of empathy to be able to be a good leader. And you also have to be somebody who's not ridiculously selfish and try to be somebody who's more, I don't know.
All those reasonable people would never work for that job, though. All the people who sound reasonable would never take the job because it's too much.
Good. So then we think not like that.
Christina and Austin, if the test was going to be there, who would administer the test? Who would
A
decide what
professional
things to go
psychiatrist.
Who would decide which psychiatrist and which psychologist are going to
Just run the void comp test on people, right?
process doesn't include any political decisions, and it's all scientific, right?
Right.
We're creating something that doesn't have standards, and you're taking the power of choice away from people. People in a democracy have a right to vote for a psychopath. You want to challenge
Yeah, but they
that?
should know. They should know. They should actually see the stats of this person's
They know
mental
Christina.
health.
They know Christina.
Why?
They do.
No, they don't. I think most people are very naive. I think most people are very naive to that stuff. I think people still want to believe that, like Trump, that he really had like their best interest at heart. I think these people were very naive, and now they're seeing that that's obviously the furthest thing from the case.
Christina, do you know what it takes to change the Constitution of the United States?
No one's trying to change the Constitution. I think it's just having checks and balances.
This is not an argument against the substance of her position, Benjamin. It's just not. You're just talking about some procedural stuff. But the problem with Christina's idea is not that it's difficult to believe, it's that it is wrong. Okay, and we should not change the subject from that. Christina's idea is incorrect. It's that position it's immoral. Alright, it will lead to more problems. It will not solve any problems.
I actually agree with Jason. I don't agree with Jason a lot, but on this one I do agree that it needs a separate layer that can then be manipulated to let in whoever in power wants.
Or weaponized censorship the next time around. So it's, yeah.
We already have weaponized censorship in the United States, right? So but that's the thing. We live in.
But I feel like I'm not saying that this is information that this is like something that, if possible, an unbiased like set of doctors, professionals in this industry with set standards, with set metrics, science backing this up, to be the ones that can be like, this is your result, you cannot move on to the next step. It's just procedural. It's not something that we need to.
It should have to come down to the entire American political process.
But that's
what's
not an
wrong with
argument
that?
against the substance.
That's how
Last time we did that, we had a civil
That's
war.
not enough, but that's not an argument against the substance. And Christina, I understand that that is what you want to achieve, and the problem is that's a bad idea. Okay, and I've offered.
Well, you can say that's, I think that's a bad idea, but you don't have to say.
Okay, I've offered reasons for that, which you haven't engaged with. Okay.
See what Christine wants. She wants to change the way we think and how we feel. And we
And
don't want
the
to.
reason, one reason that's a bad idea thing. None of these people that you're trying to exclude from office are clinical in any
You
way.
don't
None
know
of them
that.
would fail that.
Well, listen, the whole point of a psychopath is that they can be subclinical and undetectable.
Yes, that's another point. right?
Not true,
Which
actually.
is that you cannot reliably detect a lot of these things anyway. Okay, so you have two problems there, okay? One of them is bad people are not psychopaths. A lot of the time they're just bad. They don't have anything mentally wrong with them. They just are bad.
I think you're thinking that psychopaths
examples
equate
of
to
this.
like.
No, what I mean is they aren't clinical.
It was
Bad
just
people are not diagnosed.
So
But
it's
I
with
think
something
you're,
that's wrong
I
with
think
them.
you're
and
not
Texas shuts down
Because it's a moral judgment. You're making a moral judgment
Right.
about a decision.
What does that tell you?
I'm going to kill this person, or
Like
maybe
the-
not, or whatever. But how do you evaluate that on an adult inventory? On something
So
like
I
a
wanna
Minnesota
help-
multi-phase?
I want to help Jason out here and by saying that power is one hell of a drug. And the more power you get, the more unfettered power you get, you're most likely going to make decisions that seem less moral, right? We see this with a lot of cops in the United States, right? That shoot first, unload a whole fucking clip into someone's back, and then go, oh, what do they have in their hand, right? Or how government officials do insider trading while barking at corporations for doing the same thing, right? Or corporations themselves being considered legal entities that are alive, but they're immortal. Like, there's all these things. So power is one hell of a drug. And if you want to solve a lot of these problems, you need distributed power. But I feel like we don't really operate that way. And I think that you could have that for a little bit, but then the schemers and the people that want to take advantage of the system, that want power, that are addicted to power, will start doing their shenanigans again. So that's why I say you have to let it break. You have to collapse, which it is, right? We're in that time in history where the 80-year cycle repeats.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, historically, societal change has never come from government. It's come from the people and a revolution type scenario. Sure. And I believe that humans act best as a community. So,
Looking at them in here.
It's like if you have a village and the elders are in there and they're looking after their community. I think that the problem we have in the world that we live in is that we're too detached from actually our leaders. And, the cliche is, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. So, I agree with you.
I think once we're solidly in the age of Aquarius, a lot of these things will then make sense for me to tie up some of these threads, you know what I'm saying? We're in a transitional period astrologically, which I don't think any of you.
I thought you didn't like astrology.
Dude, your voice is crazy, dude. I don't know what you're doing with your phone. You need to pull it out of your butt.
He's in the bathtub. Okay.
You're like rubber ducky. Your little left bath bomb in there.
I just wanted to finish my thought. I think that some people think that antisocial personality disorders are not as common as they are, but they are in fact very common. And in fact, most people who do get into positions of power do have some level of that. So I'm not saying that all people in politics have some level or degree of that disorder, but most of them probably do, because it just requires a certain level of mindset and desire that takes you away from being really, I don't know, associating and feeling.
Jason, I said that earlier because no one can fucking hear you.
But that's my last part on that.
I can't help you from here. I'm you need to hire me to work on your audio, Fucking probably. Help you set up some wedges, run some cables.
But I think we should just all live on a farm and raise our own animals and just live like it was in the 1800s, 1700s. I think that will solve all our problems.
I think we go full Bronze Age.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even being sarcastic.
Good gladiator fights.
Well, I don't know that.
Oh, you love gladiator fights.
Jason.
Jason, your mic is super duper low.
Did you pick up a higher vibrational frequency to communicate with? I'm going to be with this woo-woo today. What deep it is. Holy shit.
Hey, Roy, aren't you supposed to be on a date? make her choose what we're doing.
I'm making her drive. She has to drive a little farther than me, actually. Get this place. So.
How is it now? How is one person?
It's better. It's just noisy. You have like some white noise. Like I mean, it's fine. I don't mind white noise. It helps me sleep.
Yeah.
You guys ever sleep with like a white noise generator having a background? I have like an air purifier just keep on next to my fucking head.
Oh my god, I do that too.
See? I got the blue one.
Recordings of the beaches of Portugal.
I thought you listened to Roy this fuck.
Oh no, that's only when I'm fucking, actually.
How do you? I like how your wife like. Hey, how do you know it's the beaches of Portugal you're listening to?
Because literally the YouTuber shows you a photo and like says, "Hey, this is the beach," and then they show another beach, and it's just beaches of the world. So my favorite one, the beaches of Portugal, for whatever.
Sounds different.
It's just a preference. It's like, oh, do you like this? Do you like that? So like, you just have a listen through. Let me know.
Have you done like an A/B comparison, like different beaches and sounds and waves, or?
Yeah. Like a lot of A/B testing and stuff.
Double
yeah.
blind? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Not double blind, single blind, but.
It's too bad Romero left, but I think Romero's onto something. Yeah, we need to lower the stakes. I mean, power over time concentrates, institutions drift over time, and every so often you have to reset and rebalance the powers in the institutions. We've seen a big drift toward a more and more powerful presidency and a more and more indifferent and ineffectual legislature.
And aloof, detached some populations.
Oh, what do they have in their head?
Going into their own little
Or how government officials do insider trading? What?
Through something like the militia system. You just have to get everybody out of their house once a quarter, out to the train together, rotate them to other states and stuff like that, and make civic duty a part of people's lives in this small. And yeah, and like countries that have conscription say it has very positive social effects. Over and over again. And something like that I don't really want to do in this country per se.
How old was your dog when?
Jesus, so growing up in Los Angeles in the late 1970s, you were part of the generation with the highest exposure to leaded gasoline exhaust in U.S. history. As a child born in 77, you were in the bullseye for environmental lead exposure. I don't know. Long-term, subtle, and often invisible impacts to your cognitive, mental, and physical health, even if you did not suffer from so yeah, I'm like, probably, yeah. What could I have been without the lead poisoning?
What could I have been without the fluoride and the lead poisoning? What could I have been? Fluoride equity now! Lead binding equity now!
Stay usually not longer than that because from
lot of parents, and for our children, for our nephews, nieces, our grandchildren, and there are way too many people pushing things before even regulation has been discussed. And this is, it sounds very vague what I'm saying, but I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm just trying to find and collect my thoughts. But what I'm seeing is that a lot of people are not, why are people not asking, stop, this needs to stop. We need to talk about regulation first before we can think any further about, how agents or the whole AI evolves, right? So, I mean, they have driven up the capitalism for a reason, right? It made a lot of people corrupt. It made a lot of people become materialistic, greedy, and in the process, I think humanity has just lost the values. And I think, and this is, I think, the core message that I wanted to deliver, but I'm somehow struggling. It's quite late here. I'm in London. We need to go back to our values and ask, what are our values? What does an ideal world look like for us? Not only for us, but for our children. And I think then we will get the balance back, potentially. We don't ask ourselves enough who we are. A lot of people don't know who they are, what they value. We just don't have the capacity anymore. Everyone is about survival. Everything has gotten so expensive. It's just so much stress, even in places that used to be very serene, beach vibes. Life has gotten so expensive for them as well. So it's not the world that we once used to know, and I think that also doesn't give us a capacity to reflect.
Well, thanks for that, Mango. I really appreciate that submission. And I think, it's in the alignment with what I was thinking as well. Because, I think what I liked about this conversation is that, no one apparently seems to have automatic opinion on where this is all heading. So, I went through different cycles, especially related to AI technology. At first, I was jaded about it. I was like, okay, I really don't see what the whole fuss is about. And then I started using the technology, and I became excited. I was like, okay, I'm excited about that. But I know there's other considerations that I'm not having. What does this mean? And I started reading, about the philosophy and ethics related to AI, and all of the possible opportunities and negatives. And yeah, I don't have to pick either mango, but I think one of the, you probably might be on that, where you're not just thinking about your possible kids, or if you even decide to have kids, but you're thinking about all kids and what the future looks like. So I started thinking about what the future of education looks like, and what opportunities presenting, and what opportunities are going to change. But I think with the most latest book that I'm reading is what Brian's been speaking to, is the reality. So what I like about this book, Infinity Machine, is that it's going through the whole process of the early emergence of the technology, and people who started it. So everybody's familiar with IBM, and how they were actually one of the first companies that developed the technology. And what this book is doing, which is something I probably wouldn't have found a lot of books doing. It talks about all of the people who were involved in the funding and the maturation. So like you were saying, Brad, about the games. Demis is actually a master chess player. And in the book it talks a lot about his exploits in chess and Go. And one of his first startups was a company called Elixir, which was gaming. So there is a close connection between gaming and AI. And technology has been developed along similar patterns, where some of the different, when he talks about the initial investors like Peter Thiel and Luke Sarkis and Bryn and Larry Page and when you read that part, there's a lot of people with deep political and ideological perspectives on humanity, and they see AGI as a way of actually implementing those ideas or controlling those ideas, right? And unfortunately, needless to say, some of these people are not the best people. I mean, some of them are literally those exploiters, capitalists, billionaires that we think is actually what's ruining. So
Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the heart. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. I only shine the diamonds of radiance white and pure. By the brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse. The sign given of none. Save it be, only me, oh Lord. By the love and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white sword with gold. And the flashing of my that I wear. By my robe I as the hawks by my bed I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with
There you go.
labor
It's a
and
little
pain and
crazy.
fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke mine is the red twilight, the reverse, the sign given of none, save thee, O Lord. By the beloved I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sown with gold, the flashing of day that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet and Typhoon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intermediate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of earth, so run I after thee in thy power of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master. My Lord, I invoke thee. I know the dark blue waves of music in the soul that I made a hole to invoke thee. Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, child and conquering Lord, Horus Avenger. In my hand is thy sword of revenge, and strike thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. Voice of the fire, the voice of the six, 11 are the voices. Abrahadabra. Mine is the head of the man, and my inside is keen as the hawks by my bed I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. hand is thy sword of revenge, and strike at thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the fire, the voice of the 611 are the voices. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my bed I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle, reverse the sign given of none, save it thee, O Lord. By the Lamed I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sown with gold, the flashing of day that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophetess and Typhoon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intermediate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of earth, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master. Abracadabra. By the word I invoke thee. I know the dark blue waves of music and the song that I made of holy to invoke Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, child and conquering lord, Horus Avenger. In my hand is thy sword of revenge, and strike at thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the fire, the voice of the 611